Hello guards, how are things? Alright, time to get stuck in traffic just in time to talk to you about things. Oh, maybe I won't record along here because the sun is directly in my fucking eyes. Ah, that's better. Alright. This week, I'll be mostly talking about face reveals, and it's not something I've really spoken about before because I didn't feel like I wanted to or had to or thought it was necessary. And so I was doing my catch-ups there a week or two ago about other channels. I do a big catch-up every so often now. I was watching some fella had a video up about face reveals and stuff like that, and I realised it wasn't like, it's something I thought about before, and I didn't really have any thoughts put together on it. I just kind of, from watching other motor vloggers 3 or 4 years ago when I started with this, most of them didn't reveal their face, but it just seemed like a normal thing, and so that's what I did. Okay, this sun is no crack. Let me try that again in a second. After drinking in a park. And so what I mean by face reveals is, do you put your face on YouTube, or do you put any of your contact info, or do you use your name, or do you use any identifying information about yourself? Somewhat importantly is, do you ask other people to do that as well, right? So I've got a couple of places where, you know, I go out on ride-outs with folks and I sort of say, don't put my face on YouTube, like don't, you know, give out any of my information, any of that sort of stuff, right? So it's not just simply a case of not bothering to show your face, like you have to do a little bit of, you know, listen lads, I'm not trying to be a prick, but like, that, you know, I don't want my face on YouTube, right? And so that's grand. I mean, I know there were a couple of motovloggers that didn't do face reveals and then eventually did because whatever reason, you know, sponsors were asking about it in some cases, or my guess is in the case of Aaron von Grumble is that he either wanted to do the 44 teeth thing and he knew he couldn't do it without doing a face reveal, or so, what I had heard as well is that somebody threatened to just publish his face. And for any of these folks, like, you can probably find out what their face looks like. You know, if you went to other people's videos in Irish moto vlogging scenes, you could probably make up a photo fit of, you know, at least half of my face. So it's not like I'm sort of holding out for, oh well, it'll certainly never be published, or my face will never be anywhere. Like, I'm realistic about this. You run into some lads that are careless, or some lads that are pricks, and are going to put it up there just to be pricks, or just because they're careless, and that's fair enough, right? That'll happen. But I'm doing my best to sort of look at ducks. Anyway, I'm doing my best to sort of keep it off there. And most people are sound about it. I just say, listen, this is my choice to not have it up there, and they go, fair enough. But as to the reasons why, I hadn't thought about it a massive amount. I just sort of said, no, I'm a pretty private person, and by that I mean, like, I value my own private life, and I also value the separation that I have between various aspects of my life as a whole, right? So I have, like, work life, and then I have, like, you know, family life, so my immediate family and my sort of distant relationships and all that sort of stuff, and I have this, you know, I have Grumpy Bike Wizard, and I have other hobbies that I have where people know me for different things. And so having that separation is pretty important to me, because I don't need people coming up to me in work and saying, oh hey, you know, you're that lad who says cunt a lot, and I don't need that over the fucking dinner table when I go home for Christmas dinner. It's like, how's the fucking YouTube channel? You sure do say cunt a lot. So there's a little bit of an element of that. Like, I do say cunt a lot with other people, like probably not so much in work, but you know what I mean. Like, you want to be able to cut loose a little bit and, you know, say stuff that will generally not be good manners in other settings. Similarly, I always looked at it from a point of view of, like, I've had videos up where you could probably tell from the video that I was probably pushing it a little bit over the old speed limit, or I did stupid shit I probably shouldn't have done. I always look at it from the point of view of, like, if you have somebody on YouTube who knows who you are and wants to be a prick to you, what could they do, you know? So obviously, like, I'm not going to show you where my house is. I'm not going to show you, like, other stuff that you could do that. And that might seem like overkill, but to be honest, like, if somebody's on YouTube and decides they want to be a prick to you, you know, make problems with your family or make problems with your job, then it's pretty easy to do right now. Most people are really fucking careless about that shit. So and it's getting easier and easier to do. Say for example you have a job where, you know, you're supposed to be a supervisor, or you're supposed to be, you know, somebody who's in charge, or you run a company, or you do something like that, and then you're off at the weekends fucking saying a load of swears and doing mad shit on bikes. It can come back to you, you know. It can sort of come back, and people, they can't make that differentiation between like, oh well, you're such and such in your job, or you're such and such in some community, like, you know, how can we trust you to do that if you say cunt a lot on a motorbike at the weekends? And I'm like, the same as you trust any other person who goes home and plays golf at the weekends and has a couple of pints and does that sort of stuff, because that's a bit fucking strange in some people's view, right? I mean, oh, you're going to do that until you retire? Okay, fair enough, good lad, you know, fair play to you. You do you, but like, you know, it's no weirder or less weird, you know what I mean? And so thinking about it, there's a couple of specific reasons that I don't show my face or put any of my information or any of that sort of stuff. And I'm going to call them out as a list, because I love lists. I haven't done a list in a while. And so first and foremost, and it's probably one I assumed, you know, in the back of my head from the outset, but then I'm going to put into words now, which is, reason number one is, it's just none of your fucking business. Like, it's just, there's no advantage to me showing you my face, or telling you my name, or telling you where you can find me, or any of that sort of stuff. Like, well, there's no reason I would want to do that. Like, I'm not going to be famous in any way based off of a fucking shitty 1,000 subscriber YouTube channel. So what possible reason would I have for putting up anything that somebody could have on me, or that could be used, you know? I mean, everyone's got plenty to lose, and that's it. So like, that's probably still the primary reason, if I think about it. If someone were to ask me randomly at a ride out or something like that, it's like, I can see your face right now, what is the point on YouTube? And I'm like, it's none of your fucking business. Like, none of people's business. Reason number one. Reason number two, and here's where we get the tinfoil hat out, it's just for security purposes. Just for fucking, if somebody wanted to rob this bike, you know, it's a fucking 20 grand bike, like, it's brand new, you know, and I was putting up like, oh, let me give you some clues as to where I live. Like, if you could narrow down within the estate where I lived, all you have to do is sit there in a car and wait for me to go in and out, or even the fucking part of North Dublin, just wait for this, or, you know, see me going around Hout to Malahide and fucking follow me home. Like, and so you can probably still do that, but I'm not telling people where I'm going to be, and you don't know my face, you can't watch for me walking in and out, all that sort of shit. So it's just some, you know, additional levels of personal sort of security as well, right? Next reason, just Ireland and Dublin in particular are small places. I run into people all the time, you know, and it's sufficiently small that if I show my face, or if I gave out my name or that sort of stuff, chances are somebody would know me, and then like the entire fucking, you know, city would know, oh yeah, that's the thing. And so there's a little bit of a mystique thing going on, you know. I want to have that separation that lies at the base of a lot of it. I'd rather just it be, you know, a helmet camera as opposed to somebody's face saying, look, you tell me, show you my fucking gloves, right? Because otherwise people look at it and say, oh, I know that cunt, that's some that I know from some other place, or from work, or my mate knows him, or that sort of thing. And Dublin and Ireland are kind of that small still. Last up, and here's a slightly more specific one, is that, and it's a similar one that sort of Kazuwaki gave, in that just keeping that separation between, for example, work and this. You know, I enjoy doing this. I don't want to have to think about showing up to fucking work on Monday and having somebody say, oh, you said the thing, oh, let me tell you about the thing, and I'm just like, oh, fuck off, like, leave that at home, go away. Man, there's a certain element of, you know, not tying myself to it because of what I do, and I haven't been very specific about what it is that I do over the years. I've actually been quite careful about that. And so let me put it to you this way, and this is the only sort of humble brag or thing you're going to hear on this on this channel, if you were in Ireland and you search for my name, my full name, if you had it, one of the first results you'd see is an Irish Times interview with me. And it's that, you know, doesn't mean anything. There are plenty of Irish Times interviews out there, but it just shows that it's like, I'm not a fucking famous person, but I'm not fucking nobody either. And the extent to which I'm well known is something that I want to protect from the other things that I do, right? I don't want to have to go to work and then come home and have those be the exact same thing, right? You know, where I have to talk about and justify everything I fucking do, right? And so I am somebody's boss. You know, I am people's boss in work. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I just want to keep that separate. I just want to not have it reflect badly on my company or me within that company, because the way the fucking internet is these days is that you say something fucking unfortunate and suddenly you're the worst person in the world and there are thousands of people trying to destroy you, and it's just not something I'm into, thanks very much. And so I don't think I have anything on the channel that's sort of bad enough that it would get me fired. Like, I'm not worried about that. It's more, I'm actually more these days worried about, like, if there's something on the channel that somebody could latch onto and say, like, oh, this person who holds this position says this, and suddenly I'm like, huh, yeah, I guess I fucking did. You know, I didn't mean what you said I meant, but okay, like, there's nothing I can do to defend myself, and that's the way it fucking goes these days. I'm doing what I really can to, you know, use a pseudonym and not identify myself directly and all that sort of stuff. And so lastly, in the extra special bonus prize, if you were waiting out for one, technology is getting fucking better and better. We can do things we couldn't do 15 years ago, 20 years ago, if you think about it. Data and facial recognition and all that sort of stuff, and I can absolutely foresee a future. I don't know how long it'll take. It's not my area of expertise. Could be 10 years, could be 20 years, where you can go take a picture of a face, go to YouTube and say, hello YouTube, give me all the fucking videos with this face in them. And that's not a fucking future I'm looking forward to. There are a ton of people growing up today that are putting stuff up of themselves online just without realizing how much they're exposing their future selves to, be it blackmail or be it something else. If you imagine we can do this in 20 years time, there's kids and teenagers and young adults out there that are just fucking themselves up for life by putting up stupid YouTube videos or Instagram videos of themselves doing stupid useful things. You can sort of say, well, they shouldn't do that if they don't want to, you know, if they're planning on fucking, you know, being in positions of authority in the future. You tell the fucking average 16-year-old that, oh yeah, don't do that stupid thing in case you want to be a fucking senator someday. 16-year-olds are tick, you know, they're not even real people yet. So you want to really think about that sort of viewpoint of like, oh well, don't have done something in the past if you weren't planning on it being possible to dig that up in the future. It's like, it's bollocks, it's a load of shite. That sort of forms part of the overall attitude I have towards face reveals, which is, yeah, I mean, it's a face reveal, it's a fucking YouTube video, and nobody's going to find it, and there's thousands of YouTube videos and everything like that, but that's going to be there, you know, that's there for fucking ever. You know, all these websites with videos and photos and everything like that, they're designed to be there fucking forever as a record. And so I'm not one of those people that tries to not pull the fuck over if I'm turning right. What a prick. Tries to have as little of an online fucking footprint or presence. There's only so much of a point to trying to do that, but I do make an effort to, you know, separate different parts of my life and my existence. This is one way of dealing with that. There's the in-person parts where I don't want to be walking around town and have people go, my boy was you know, that's cool in some fucking aspects, but also it's pretty fucking cringy otherwise. And then there's the other parts, which is like, just for future protection of yourself. Like, there's really no point in exposing yourself in that way. So anyway, that got a bit fucking rambly. That got a bit rambly towards the end there, didn't it? Are you fucking turning right? You have the head in you like you're turning right. Yeah, well, you're not. Alright, bit rambly towards the end, but that hopefully gives you a glimpse into the mind of somebody who puts a little bit of effort into keeping their information and keeping their face and keeping everything off of YouTube. I've no plans to do a face reveal. I think it's pretty fucking cringy, people who do and sort of say, this here's my face, and I'm like, so fucking what? I didn't fucking care beforehand, and I still don't fucking care, so whatever. And if that's how little I care about it, then that's how much thought I put into it. Good luck.